In this activity, we are working with the Animal Hospital Access database. And in this database, we have a table that contains information about animals, where we've got details about when they are vaccinated, who the owner is, and the details of the animal. For this activity, we are going to create queries based on the information in the animals table. It's always a good idea to have a look at the data in the table before you create your query, taking note of how the data is stored so that you can refer to it correctly when using a query. So we will come here to create and query design, and we can add the table that we want to include in our query. If this add tables option is not available, you can click on that button to add the tables, but we will just double click on animals, and there we can see all the fields in the animal table. For our first query, we want to display the type, the pet ID, the name, and the color from the animals table. To select the fields, you can either come to the drop-down box and select the field, and there we can see type, which is one of the options that we want to include. I will now come over here and select pet ID. Notice when I select pet ID, it automatically fills in the name of the table because we are only working with one table at this moment. You can also come to the field names over here and double click on them to select them. So for example, if I want to select name, if I double click on name, it will automatically add name to my list. And I can do the same for color. Now I have all the fields that I want to be displayed, and I want all the animals to be sorted alphabetically according to type. So for the type field, I will go to the sort row and select ascending order so that the names are sorted alphabetically. We will now come and run the query, and there we can see only the information that we want to be displayed, and we can see that it is sorted according to type. I'm going to save this query by right-clicking and clicking save, and it will ask for the name of the query, and I will call this animal list, and then click OK. You'll notice that the animal list query is now listed under queries. So when I close this query, if I want to access it again, I can just double click on the animal list query, and there are the details. If I want to modify this query, I can come here to change it to design view, where I can alter the details again. I will close that, and we are going to create another query. So I will come here to create query design. Now at the moment, you'll notice that we can select either data from a query or from a table. We still want to work with the animals table. And I want to display the fields pet ID, name, type, and year of birth. All of my fields are now selected, and we want to include all animals born before 2023. If I run this query just to see what the data looks like, you can see that year of birth refers to a number, and we want that number to be before 2023. So when I go back to design view, the criteria for year of birth must be before 2023, which means it is less than 2023. Make sure that you put the criteria under the correct field, and because we are dealing with numbers, we can refer to the number just as it is. We also want to sort in descending order according to the year birth. So here under sort for the year birth, I will click over there and select descending. So here our criteria is we want before 2023 for the year of birth, and we want it in descending order of year of birth. Let's run the query to review our data. There we can see we only have records that are before 2023, and you can see they are in order of year of birth. I will now right click and save this query as before 2023, and click OK and close. My final query is for all the animals that have not been vaccinated. So I will come here to create, I will come here to query design, I will select the table animals, and the fields that I want to display are pet ID. I will use the drop down options for the fields that I want to display. So I want pet ID, I want owner, and I want cell number. And because we want to determine the animals that are vaccinated, I will also need the vaccinated field. Let's just review the data. So we want all the animals that have not been vaccinated In other words, this field, which is a yes/no field, we want it where there is not a tick, or in other words, when the field is a no or when the field is a false, or if the field is off. So let's go back to design view. And so our criteria for the vaccinated field is we want it to equal false. Let's run the query. There you can see we have only the animals that do not have ticks under vaccinated, or in other words, that have not been vaccinated. Let's go back to design view. This would also work if we said equals no, and we get the same results. And if we say off. So when it comes to yes, no fields, you can either use false, no, or off if you want it unticked, and you can select true, yes, or on if you want the field to be ticked. Let's go back to design view, and we want the data sorted according to the pet ID in ascending order. So under pet ID, I will come here to sort and select ascending order. Now note, they asked us only to display the pet ID, the owner, and the cell number. We do not want to view the vaccinated field, but we still need it for the criteria. So now that I'm happy with all of my data being accurate in the correct ascending order and with the right data being displayed, I can come back here to design view and deselect the fields I do not want to show. In other words, I do not want to see the vaccinated field. And if we run it, there is our query where we have the fields that we want to be displayed, sorted in ascending order according to pet ID, and these are the pets that have not been vaccinated. We will now save this query as pets not vaccinated and click OK. And there we can see our 3 queries that we made in this activity. And that is the end of this activity.